Okay, so welcome to the CADS podcast. We're calling it a podcast because we don't really know what else to call it, I think. With me, we have a bunch of CADs. We have, let's go from left to right. Andreas, say hello.
Hello.
All right, John, let everyone know who you are.
Bonsoir, I'm the bagel, saying hello from Rob.
And then, well, I think we've lost Austin, haven't we?
Austin's cleared off.
Austin's cleared off. He might be back in a minute. And then we got Puneet.
Hi.
I'm not sure.
Puneet.
Ah, there you are. Puneet is there. How you doing, Puneet?
Very good, thanks. Back on with the laptop now, a little better.
Yeah. Very dark screen when you talk, so everybody will know when you're talking.
He's looking a bit burgundy tonight, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so how is everybody feeling? End of the season. What are we doing?
Winding the season down as usual. From cup final onwards, I think, wasn't it, really?
Well, it was a downwards curve. Like we had from the last. I can hear myself now. From the last Capital One Cup in 08, where we just went from being quite good in cup challenges and everything, and went then beeline towards the bottom. I think it reminded me of this season because we just gave up on the season when we didn't win the Capital One Cup. So a bit flat, but I was expecting more of a transition season this season, so I'm not overly disappointed because I wasn't getting my hopes up.
I think we've had a lot of transition seasons, haven't we? I mean, if we sell a lot of our players like is rumoured, then we're going to have another transitional season next season. I mean,
True.
where do you draw the line under transitional seasons? I mean, we can't compete with City, we can't compete with Chelsea, but I'd like to believe that we're big enough to stop having transitional seasons every season. It's getting a bit boring now, to be fair.
It would help.
Well, yeah,
that's the thing to do if we're going to stop having transitional seasons. We actually need to stick with a manager and stick with a squad and get players to bed in, play properly, and
well, the main problem with that, Stu, is, to be brutally honest, the squad we've got is not good enough, is it? If we're all honest. There's players that just have to go. I love Bobby Soldado, but is he ever going to come good? I don't think so. He's too long in the tooth. Paulinho's another one. He's got to go, really, isn't he? Sorry?
I say in fairness to Soldado, he's only 29. He's not old.
Well, he's quite old for a striker, isn't it? 29. From central midfield or something. I don't like writing players off when they're sort of coming near to 30, but he's going to turn 30 soon, isn't he? Isn't it? His 30th birthday soon enough. I think when you start hitting the 30s, you've got to remember that people are looking at resale values as well. He's never going to end his career with us, is he? So.
I don't think we've got a resale value on him anyway, have we?
Well, we've not paid the 26, have we?
Have we not?
Surely not. We must have some bonuses like cups and Europe.
I think in league we would take on for I don't think we've paid. I think we've probably paid about half of that so far, to be honest. So
it was a highly inflated sum, wasn't it? It was there to make the Sevilla president look good.
Exactly. PR effort.
I think if he's top scorer in the Champions League and we win the Champions League, and at the same time they win the World Cup and he's top scorer there, then I think then we pay 26 million. Apart from that, we ain't going to get anywhere near it.
But what about the Lamela fee then? The 33 million, is that inflated in the same way? Because he's nowhere near worth that. Well, it hasn't been for us anyway.
I heard that was fully paid up front. I heard that was paid up front because we wanted him, and the only way to actually get him was to pay all the money up front.
I can't imagine. I can't honestly believe that Daniel Levy would go out and pay 30 million quid for Eric Lamela personally.
He looked like an actual successor to Bale, though, didn't he? He looked as though he would replace Bale. When you looked at the YouTube clips of him cutting in from the right wing and beating players and scoring goals for Roma, he did look.
That's the dangerous thing in YouTube. Let's be honest. I could go and film myself in the garden for the next 10 minutes, and I could look really good. So I think whenever I see Lamela, I don't know about you guys, what you guys think. Every time I see him, I know he's only played in effect one season with us because of his injuries and stuff. I just don't see a player that's going to adapt to the English Premier League. I just think he's always looking for more time than he's got. He still thinks he looks like he's still playing in Italy in Serie A, and he's just I can't see him. I've seen nothing of his game so far for me to think that he's going to be able to adapt. I just don't see it. I hope I'm wrong, but I just can't see it. So.
I disagree. I think he's started to look the part in the last few games.
Yeah, last few games he's looked very good.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, in the last game as an example, I mean, again, he was losing the ball so often. I mean, people were saying, lauding him for going and winning the ball back, which is great, but don't lose it in the first place, mate. I mean, that's what I'd always say.
I think the
I've
problem...
heard that somebody was putting stats up, and they said that he's lost the ball the same number of times as Harry Kane has and as Christian Eriksen has. So, yeah, probably not bad company to be in.
I wouldn't disagree with that, because Harry Kane is one of my bugbears with Harry Kane. He's had a great season, but he does hold on to the ball too much. He does try and do too much with it rather than looking for a pass. So I wouldn't be surprised with that stat that he's lost the ball as much as Eric Lamela, to be honest, because I think that's one of the things that Harry needs to work on in the close season is that he's scored a lot of goals, but there's still other people that, you know, when they're in better positions, he needs to pass the ball.
I think the problem is we're all looking at him as a £30 million player and not a 21-year-old with high potential, which is where he really is. And until we remove that £30 million price tag, we're not going to really appreciate what he can bring to the table. But without a doubt, you look at the last game, his through ball was top draw. You know, if you pick up some of the positives and don't just look for that money, there is a good player in there, especially in pre-season when he was full of confidence. He came drop deep, wanted the ball all the time, scored a lot of goals in pre-season, and looked the part. And with that, I think, yeah, without a doubt, you hit the nail on the head that the Premier League is that much faster, and he hasn't yet adapted. But players like Harry Kane are testament to, you know, things can change very quickly.
Yep, I'd agree with all of that. The thing I would say he has started to adapt to the Premier League. The last few games he's looked pretty good. He's been man of the match several times this season. He's had 4 or 5 man of the match awards this year. You don't get that if you're not showing something, and he's showing some qualities, I believe. But that's just me.
Well, if we were talking stats a bit earlier, I took the liberty of looking up our stats. He's tied for second in most dispossessed player in our squad. The first one being Harry Kane, as mentioned, and then Eriksen and Lamela having been dispossessed 2.3 times per game, which is a lot. Giving the ball back to the opponent, but all those 3 players are so high up the pitch that it's not fatal that they lose the ball that much. So I might have to reconsider my thinking that he's always giving the ball away, because apparently he isn't, as much as he's just not doing enough with it in the end. So the end product is not there, I'm afraid.
I do believe we've just been joined by Belgium. Marcel, are you there? He's shown up on the screen, but he hasn't actually started talking yet.
It's the best way.
Well, actually, if we're talking stats, Andreas, if you have a look up on the same thing, I'm pretty sure that Lamela is right up there with a number of balls won back as well after losing it. Which means he's lost the ball and then he's had to try and win it back, obviously. But I think he's done some good work in the defensive area as well.
I mean, the other point to put into that as well is he is probably the best player in our team at winning the ball high up the pitch. I don't think anyone else has won the ball so much high up the pitch, which has resulted in a lot of our early season goals, especially late on goals. I don't know where that sort of tactic has gone in our team, but yeah, he's fundamental to that.
Well, in terms of getting the ball back, and this is not taking into account where on the pitch that is, he's behind the obvious people like Danny Rose, Ryan Mason, Capu. This is measured per game. Walker, Bentaleb. He's behind those kind of people. But he is actually making the 5th most tackles in our squad per game. And that is as a right winger. I think that's pretty good. And makes 1.3 interceptions per game, which means he's more tackling than getting in the way of the pass. But I still think...
He's also the most inventive passer we've got. That reverse pass to on Saturday wouldn't have been seen by anyone else in the team, I don't think.
Well, Chadley was pointing where he wanted the ball, so same thing we saw. It's something we haven't seen enough of this season. Is players saying where they want the ball to go. Danny Rose did it in his own game. Chadley was running and he was pointing where he wanted the ball to be played, and we gave it to him. But there's been so many times this season where players have been running aimlessly, haven't been saying where they want the ball, and of course they haven't got it, and it's gone somewhere else. So we've lost opportunities because of that.
Point.
Okay, I think the last thing with Lamela is Lamela really a right winger? I personally think he's a number 10, but we seem to have a surfeit at number 10s. We've got Ericsson, who I believe is best at number 10. Dembele, who's shown he's probably played his best football this season at number 10. Pritchard coming back, best as a number 10 from what I understand. So how many people can we play at number 10 next season? And if we're going to play one, who's it going to be?
Well, we've got Chadley in there as a candidate as well, because he doesn't seem to be like an out-and-out winger. He's more moving inside. But I think the way we've played, especially with Ericsson on the wing, has been to make people come in and get in behind the striker, thus making it more number 10 going forward, 3 number 10s going forward, and wingers when going back. And I think it works quite nicely. Because you don't have to be an out-and-out winger to play in our team at the moment. Because when going forward, you just have to crash the middle, basically. Well, I don't think it's going to be an issue. We're going to play the best players in those positions, and I hope that all those people that can play just behind the striker are versatile enough to cover all 3 places. So 5 people for 3 places, or 6 people for 3 places is more than sufficient if we're going to play in Europe as well.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? No. Okay. All right, let's move on. I think we've had some good games this season. We've had some pretty piss awful ones as well. But generally, I would say it's been a positive season, regardless of what happens in the last game against Everton. I'm reasonably happy with what we've seen. There's been some very good games. What do you guys reckon has been the best game of the season?
I think from a non-Spurs perspective, so for the neutral, it had to be that Liverpool game away, where it was 100 miles per hour, end to end. Unfortunately, obviously, it didn't come out as a good result for us. But I think that game not only was a real entertaining game for the neutral, but it seemed to zap both of those 2 teams, and both of those teams never played in the same style or as effectively after that game.
Right, I can hear everyone now.
Who's that? Marcel.
Yeah, it is.
Hello.
Marcel.
Horrible picture of Benito on my screen. How can I change that?
Adjust the contrast, Marcel.
You need to get a new screensaver, Marcel.
I'm going to get a new PC after that. Anyway.
Alright, so Marcel, we're talking favourite game of the season. What do you reckon? What's your favourite game?
Oh, playing with the wife, I suppose.
Yeah, football match. We're talking your favourite. But let's get it even tighter. Your favourite Tottenham football match of the season.
Oh, thank you very much. Right, actually the ones I've been to. That's a bit hard, actually.
We're not going to take it down to ones you've been to, because I'd have to shut up. I've not been to a game all season, so.
Well, I've never been to a Spurs game, so I couldn't even mention one.
Right, I'm gonna mute him now. No, he's all right.
Right, it's a hard question actually, because there's been so many ups and downs. I tend to only remember the last few, but actually, although we lost, the Man City game I quite enjoyed.
I thought the City game was a really good game, and we created more chances in that than we have done in any other game this season, apart from possibly Chelsea on New Year's Day.
Where every single one went in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to watch that Chelsea game on a replay because I actually missed it live. I was in Romania, so I was having to watch everything on a replay. And honestly, I knew what the score was. I knew we'd won. I was still nervous as hell watching that game because it couldn't have finished like that. Because just look at the way we're playing. We're giving up so many chances. It was fantastic to watch, but it must have been terrible to watch live, I'm sure.
It was great. It was great watching it live.
It was fantastic watching live. It was a game where I think I've been least stressed all season.
Really? I was stressed about that one, I have to say.
Mind you, I was still stressed when we scored the 5th goal against Arsenal in the semi-final a few years ago. I mean, until we put that 5th one, and I still thought they'd be able to fight back. So too many years of supporting Spurs have really set the rot in as far as my stress levels are concerned.
And games like 4-3 against Leicester don't really help that, do they?
Oh, absolutely not. And losing 4-3 against City in the cup about 10 years ago.
Don't get me wound up about that.
Oh. I mean, 3-0 up at half-time, Joey Barton sent off, and we still lost. I couldn't believe it.
And I remember thinking to myself, we're going to get 6 here today.
Yeah.
That was your fault.
Yeah.
You were the one who voiced it. Oh, dear.
Yeah, ever since.
Okay, so anybody else? Who else has got a favourite game from the season?
Well, we haven't even discussed the Arsenal 2-1 game in February. It's always a high point, beating the scum, basically. I thoroughly enjoy that. Although I have to say, going back to the Chelsea game, I was hungover. I was expecting just to be poorly from drinking, poorly from football, and poorly from everything, and then turned it into an absolutely amazing day. I actually think I went and washed the dishes with a hangover after that game because I was high on adrenaline. Never washed the dishes because of adrenaline before.
And we had played out that fairly disappointing draw in Manchester United a few days before, so that wasn't particularly good. Wasn't expecting a lot, I have to say, from that one.
I think United is always a difficult game whenever it has been for 50 years. Whenever we've played United, it's been a difficult game.
All right, so if we go through I've got some of the games here down here actually. Highlights of the season. We go right back to the start, the second game of the season where we won 4-0 against QPR. I thought that was very telling. It was like, oh, this is actually the way that Pochettino wants to play, and I thought that was a really, really good performance from pretty much every member of the team forward. What else did we have? 1-0 against Southampton. That's pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, then we had a rough period, didn't we? Not some not so good games. Obviously, that 5-3 against Chelsea, fantastic. The 2-1 against Arsenal.
2-1.
Everton 2-1. Yeah.
That was a good game.
Yeah, let's hope for more of the same on Sunday.
They won't have Lennon playing, will they?
No, they won't have Lennon playing.
And also, we can overtake Liverpool.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know, but I do videos pretty much every week looking at various matches, and that was one of the games I looked at this week. And that was one of the points I made, is like, Everton's seriously going to want to hand Liverpool 5th place on a platter. I don't think they will, and with their slightly weak inside, I think we've got a reasonable chance this weekend. So.
Yeah.
No, I've got a good record against Everton as well.
Barbecue that day.
Oh, going out for barbecue before or after the match? Obviously not during.
No, be after.
I'm at Lord's. Won't see it, and may very well be slightly drunk when I get home, so may not see much of the day too either.
Ooh.
Not like you.
Okay, so if we've been through our favourite games of the season, what have been the worst games of the season? And we got a lot of them, I think.
Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool 3-0 at home.
Yeah.
Embarrassing.
I want to mention one of the that was mentioned as the best game of the season, which was the Liverpool 3-2 game. My brother is a Liverpool fan, and I watched it with him, and I've never seen anyone gloat that much after that Balotelli goal. And he's really a decent guy, so it struck me, and I really hated that game and it stuck with me for quite some time.
I think not just you on that front, Andreas. I know that Panit's got people that he knows that support Liverpool, and I've got a son and son-in-law who are both bin dippers, and my son rang me up the minute the game had finished and said, "You did very well." I thought, "Fuck off, you patronising little cunt."
There we go. That's some proper CADS language.
Yeah.
You don't get that elsewhere,
the worst game was just after that. We had the West Brom game. I don't think we had a shot on target.
Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that was the worst game. That 0-0 against Burnley, or where we lost 1-0 against Aston Villa. You know, we know for both games we'd be fifth right now.
Mm.
Yeah. On target, I think I've hit the fucking target more times this season than any other.
Yeah. Anyone else? Worst game of the season?
All the ones we didn't win.
Yeah.
All the ones we didn't win. That's a fair number of games.
We do have some really regrettable ones. Sorry, like the Villa game where we lose against a team that we should be comfortably beating, and then just those are the points that we're missing from fourth, and that's really all there is to it.
Yes, and like where we lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace as well. You know,
Yeah.
It's coming off the back of that 5-3 win against Chelsea, and then I remember going to watch with the two Davids and Sam in a bar in Paris, and we sat down. We were all really expecting a really good performance, and we got that pile of shit. I was like, oh God, dear, what's going on here?
Dreadful.
All right, so enough of that.
I'm going to log out. I'm going to say goodbye. Nice talking to you. Sorry it's been brief, but I've got to go out.
All right, Austin. Have a good evening.
I will speak to you all very soon, I hope. Panit in particular, but enjoy the rest of the conversation, lads.
Okay, see ya.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, right. So we didn't make a lot of signings over the summer, but who was your top signing of the season? So 2014, 2015 season. Who's been your top signing?
Well, can I start by mentioning just the top four players that we've signed this season? The people that went straight into the first team.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ben Davies, it's Fazio, it's Eric Dyer, and it's Michel Vorm. Those are the players that have made most of an impact, if you can call it that, in our season. Just to consider.
Stambouli as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stambouli as well.
I
think Dyer's the one that really cemented his place in the first team. So I don't think that's quite too hard a question. You know, Fazio's had a few games, but the rest have really not featured in any for any sort of long period at all, have they?
Don't know why we haven't used Stambouli more. I've always thought he looked good.
Yeah, I agree. And he seemed to make the side a little bit more solid whenever he played.
Yep. Last weekend.
Yeah.
Came on and he's shored up the side.
How long was he on for? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
No, he was on a bit of a tap, but he did make a difference when he came on. He looked a lot more solid.
Alright, so it's Stambouli. So we've got a vote for Stambouli. I'm not sure I agree with that. Who else did we say?
Vote for him.
Alright, okay.
Dyer,
yeah.
Well, I think it's quite nicely because I don't think anyone's going to disagree on Eric Dyer, but he might just be the youngest of the lot, and actually him being the best signing at 21. I think that's actually saying something, that we've got some pretty good talent there, quite cheaply as well.
I mean, he was only 20 when he signed.
Yeah.
So I think Dyer has been the signing of the season. I think he's probably played the most games out of anyone. Fazio might be pushing him, but because Dyer was out of the team for a little while, wasn't he?
Yeah.
But I suppose this season you really... Sorry.
No, that's right. Go on.
Yeah, I was saying this season you really have to look at the young players that have come through as signings as well, as they've figured so much. So You know, and I know obviously Bentalab was introduced, you know, last season, but you know, when you look at those players coming through, like your Kanes, your Masons, your Bentalabs, we really had you know, a lot more from them than we have from any signing.
Yeah, that's true. Well, if we look at Kane as a signing, then absolutely that's going to be the signing of the season. But just in the fact that we can name 3 players coming through the ranks as potential being the best new players or somewhat new players in the team is absolutely fantastic, and I hope we're going to have 3 more next season.
That's asking a bit, I think.
Yeah, of course, but still, could be quite nice to focus on the youth and get people like Pritchard, for example, into the first team as well.
Is he going to play though?
Pritchard, I think Pritchard's going to be a sub, isn't he? He can be a sub.
And in the cup games, I think, but I can't really see him breaking into the Premier League team. I don't know.
Then again, I couldn't see Mason playing a Premier League game at all. I thought it was a championship.
A few years ago, people were saying the same thing came up. So things can change quick. I hope for the lad's sake. I mean, he's had a really good season. I know a few people have been watching this year, but he's certainly got the talent. But
yeah, my mate, who's a Brentford fan, he says we can't have him back. He doesn't want us to have him back, and so he does have Premier League potential in my view, but I haven't seen him play yet, so what do I know? But I think we've got a really interesting prospect here, because he was vital to a team that's just been promoted to the Premier League, so he has Premier League talent. No, he hasn't. Sorry, they're not promoted. They lost to Middlesbrough, but they were close to being promoted. Sorry. So he's somewhere around the Premier League talent bracket, and should be punching for a place in the first team hopefully very soon.
I've seen him play a couple of times this season, and the lad's full of confidence, and he's so comfortable on the ball. He's got an eye for for a pass, and obviously an eye for goal as well. So he seems to have the whole package, and I think we can't really rule out anything when he's got a manager who swears by hard-working young players. So it'll be very interesting to see what Pochettino does with him in the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if he fights his way into the starting 11.
He's not going to have much of a summer, though, is he? Pritchard's one of those players that's been called up for the Under-21 European Championship, so he's not going to have much of a summer.
Yeah, but in fairness, when you're that age, you could play football till the cows come home.
I don't know. I mean, there's an argument for burnout, though, isn't there, from some of the younger players? I mean, if you look at Bentaleb and Mason and some Ericsson as well. I mean, he's still young, isn't he? I mean, a lot of people were saying the reason our season tailed off was through burnout for the younger players. So it's a difficult one. I mean, you're going to see the same with Harry Kane going to. I mean, I'm all for Harry Kane and Pritchard and any of our other under-21s going to the under-21 competition rather than play some crappy friendly in Australia, because I don't think it serves any purpose to help them pre-season wise to play some crappy game in Australia. I'd personally rather them go and play an under-21 competition, because if they do go on to win it, it will feed in, it will add a little bit extra to their mentality and their characters perhaps, rather than, let's say, some poxy friendly in front of Aussie rules. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? Because, like I say, I mean, the burnout is one thing, but on the other hand, as Peneat's right, I mean, when I was young and I used to play a lot, I could never get enough of playing football. I'd play every night if I could. But, I've got to say, I see a lot of this burnout in our younger players this season as well. Mason, for example, completely looked dead on his feet the last sort of 10 games. Bentaleb seemed to come on a little bit more, but Ericsson was a passenger for me. And, ever since the cup final, or even before.
Andreas' hangover.
Yeah, he's been drinking with Andreas. Maybe, I don't know. I think there's certainly an element of burnout there. Whether it's the training sessions that's been refuted today, I can't remember by who, but someone said it's a load of nonsense. The training sessions aren't that hard, or is it just genuine burnout? The players simply are not used to playing with the intensity of some of the older professionals around them. I don't know.
Could be mental burnout as well.
It could be, yeah, absolutely.
Could be. Probably more likely at that age, frankly.
Indeed.
Or cocaine, like.
Like someone we're not going to mention, potentially, maybe.
I always pull the argument to Ronaldo and Messi when it comes to playing numbers of games and performing at the highest level, and and they've done it for year after year after year. So I think it is more mental than physical.
I totally agree. I mean, if you take their mentalities compared to some of the other players, then they have a born winner mentality. Compared to perhaps some of the English players, I've always levelled that at English players, that they don't have that mentality, which is why we fail so often, and we're crap. Which doesn't help.
Who wants some good news?
Go on, give some good news. Arsenal didn't win.
Arsenal 0, Sunderland 0. So, so that makes Sunderland safe and means Arsenal can't finish any higher than third for the season. So, so down to Newcastle or Hull to go down.
Wouldn't it not be nice to see the bar coach go down? I'd love it. I've got to start. I'd love it.
Both playing straight.
Well, then our game might be on telly on Sunday.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's already decided, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, what's the game?
We'll find it anyway.
Three games involving those three clubs. So it's Chelsea against, I think, Sunderland, right?
No, it's Man United, wouldn't it? Or Hull Man United, sorry.
Hull Man United.
Yeah.
Let me check my spreadsheet.
Newcastle against whoever they're playing, and
Newcastle playing West Ham at home.
Yeah, Allardyce would love to send them down,
and
wouldn't
then
he?
the Chelsea game.
Chelsea Sunderland, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point in Chelsea Sunderland? There's nothing.
They didn't see them lift the cup.
Oh, must tune in for that one then.
Oh god. Not interested in that. Okay. Right, so we've talked about the top signing of the season. Who's been the best sale? Who was the player who...
Adebayor.
No, he hasn't gone yet. No, players who have already left the club.
Who did we sell?
Well, we sold Gylfi Sigurdsson, Sandro...
Jake Livermore.
Jake Livermore.
Livermore, Holby, Dawson, Friars, Gomes actually went this season as well.
Gomez, yeah.
Oh, he's come out today with a few remarks, hasn't he, Mr. Gomez?
Yeah.
He was Player of the Year, wasn't he, for Watford? And he's just signed a new contract for him.
And we can probably count Lennon as a sale as well.
Or I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I sincerely hope not, but I think we might have to.
Yeah.
Sigurdsson was a player we could have really done with, I felt, in hindsight, with what's materialised this season. But I think, look at Zeki Friars. He's just disappeared off the face of the earth. And who was the first guy that he said?
He only signed Friars to piss off Fergie.
That seems what it was about, because I can't see any other reason. I mean, he was rubbish, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I tried him at left back, he was rubbish. Tried him at centre back, he was rubbish. All that fuss over messing about with, was it Anderlecht?
Yeah.
Oh, what a palaver.
Was it? And I thought it was Standard Liège or something.
Liège.
No, that's it. Some poxy Belgian team.
Yeah, you said it.
But I think with the rumours about Livermore at the moment, he might be the best sale because he did provide a bit of value to the whole team, but they're still going down, and the issues, the off-pitch issues he's having at the moment might not be the best thing for a club to deal with.
Yeah, I'm not sure what these issues are. I haven't found out. I'm not sure I want to find out either. I mean, he's had a hard time recently, but I'm not sure that if he has done it, because they've still got to test his B sample or whatever. If he has been caught sniffing cocaine, it's not a clever thing for a professional footballer to do, even if it doesn't actually help your game any. So
helps you snarl a little bit more at the referee and the opponents, I guess. But
I guess it raises your heart rate, so maybe helps you lose weight or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, and seeing as we're not covered by the CCC, I'm going to say I'm pretty sure Cantona wasn't clean every single game. Because he was mental at times. Yeah, in my opinion, of course, my personal opinion. Please sue me.
On YouTube, then.
Pardon?
What's that?
It's so much for publishing this on YouTube, then.
No, this is going on YouTube.
It is live on YouTube at the moment.
Yeah. I think if we're going to talk about best seller of the season, I think Sandro has to be right up there. 12.6 million. The guy's played 7 games. He's then got injured. Now he's got a problem with his visa. So I love the guy. I think he's a fantastic player, or at least was when he first came to us. But he's gone way down, and to get that kind of money for him was
made a glass, isn't he? Made a glass. I feel sorry for him because he's a lovable fella, isn't he? Really, but and like you say, when he first came to us, he was immense for us because he was exactly what we needed. But he's just made a glass now, and it's such a shame, really. But like you say,
that first big injury, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that knee injury did him.
Yep, absolutely. Shame.
All right, then. So with players that have come in and players that have gone, what about players who are going to leave or players who are going to come in?
Adebayor is going to leave.
Adebayor, I think everyone wants to get rid of him, right?
He's got to leave.
So hang on, let's go through the list. There's Adebayor, Kabul, anyone else we want to get rid of?
Capu's going to have to go as well. I think he's just finished at the club, I think.
They mentioned Kabul, the Danish commentators at the last game, and I didn't even think he was at the club anymore. It's like, oh wow, is he still here? So no, he has to leave. He's been a poor player, poor ambassador for the team.
Club captain still.
He's club captain still, but still had a falling out with the manager.
None of them were around for the lap of honour either, were they?
Weren't they? That's not good.
Yeah, but whose choice, though? That's the thing. Was it the manager that said you stay away, or do you think they decided to save face and not bother going out?
I think honour is the word there, isn't it?
What was that? Sorry.
Honour is the word there.
Yes.
Just in lack of it, yeah, absolutely.
No
honour among wage thieves, perhaps. Who knows?
Yeah.
But then again, if we look at Adebayor, we look at Kabul and Paulinho, Soldado, we're probably looking at some of the top wages of the team as well. We're probably looking at something like £300,000 to £400,000 a week, which is more than what Bale is making at the moment. Not I'm saying that we need to use that money on Bale, but we can get a lot of players, very good players as well. I think Ericsson is only on 55, 60 something. So if you can get 5 of those kind of players in that level, I think we can actually enhance the team.
Just getting rid of Adebayor will be a massive boost because we're now paying his full wage. I think he's on something like 150 grand a week.
Yeah, he is.
So if you can get rid of that off your wage bill, that'd be amazing.
150 a week. There's 3 Ericssons or something like that.
Yeah. Or 4. Was it almost 4 Harry Kanes?
Yeah.
We all dream of a team of Harry Kanes.
Yeah. And it's only 75% of a Raheem Sterling.
Yes.
Getting rid of Adebayor, though, is not just financial, is it? Getting rid of a cancer in the club, as people put it.
Yeah.
I'm actually not sure. Looking at the team now, I don't think he has the influence that he's had previously. That there might be other leaders in the team that are setting the morale and setting the way that the team clicks. So he doesn't have a huge effect on that anymore, like he did in the beginning. No, exactly. So after the manager sided with the Kane side of things, I think he's become just a waste of space. Sorry to say.
Although you say that, you've got to look at of all those players, the manager, credit to him, he has brought Adebayor and Capoue back into the team and played them. So, you know, if all's as is led to believe, then is that really the case?
But is there anyone here who would like to see them in a Spurs shirt next year? Anyone?
I still had hope for Capoue, to be honest, but I mean, he's been playing more with the under-21s than he has been involved with the first team. So for me, that distinctly tells me that he's finished.
So he's the next Bongani Kumalo.
Yeah,
well,
probably.
Go to Preston and stay there forever. Yeah.
But then again, we've in the place that Capoue plays, and he's 26 now. We've got Bentaleb, we've got Ryan Mason, and we've got Stambouli at 20, 23, and 24. We've got younger players playing that position, and I can actually see Eriksson playing in that position as well. So Capoue might be as far removed from the team. He's not a future prospect. So, to me, he's one of the get-rid players. Not because he's one of the worst players in the squad, but he's one of the most superfluous, I think it's called.
I think Capoue will be off to Italy personally. There's massive. I mean, Stuart will probably confirm this, but there's been massive rumours about Stambouli coming back to France as well.
Yeah, kind of Marseille
being bang interested, but again, it depends on the fee because Marseille are going to lose a lot of their players. And
Marseille got rid of a lot of players. They've got some fairly serious financial problems. They
do exactly.
That's like 5 or 6 players. They've got Ayew who's leaving on a free. Others leaving on a free. There's Florian Thauvin who's likely to be leaving this year.
Yeah.
Their other highly rated central midfielder whose name has momentarily passed me by. He's supposed to be leaving as well. So I think you're going to see a lot of players move on. But Stambouli didn't cost us a huge amount of money, and he probably wouldn't cost us a lot to sell him on again. So.
Well, as he goes, he signed a 5-year contract, and so I think they're going to be looking at in excess of £6-7 million.
But how much did we sign him for?
According to Transfermarkt, I think it was. Sorry, I just have to look. It's 11.5 million.
No, what's Stambouli?
No, 10 million. Sorry, yep, 10 million Stambouli.
I'm looking at Transfermarkt, and that's saying 5.9 million for Stambouli, which sounds about right to me, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm sorry, I went for Capoue. Capoue is actually.
Yeah, Capoue was about 11. Yeah.
Just answering your question, though, Stuart. With Adebayor, is he going to be here? You know, does anyone want him here next season? I think one of our problems is that we've faced over the last 4 or 5 years at least is we're just seen incapable of signing strikers of any note. And you know, you look at our squad right now. We've got Harry Kane, you've got Soldado. You know, if we don't sign anybody, where does that leave us? Are we better off keeping him there or thereabouts in case of injuries? You know what I mean?
No, I'm get him out. I'm happy to keep Soldado. I'd much rather keep Soldado than Adebayor.
Definitely.
Well, the difference between Soldado and Adebayor is the fact that Soldado is actually likable.
Yeah.
They don't score. Either of them don't score, and they're just there for a backup striker to put on when Harry Kane gets tired. But Soldado is likable, and I think that's actually that's a massive thing in terms of keeping him on.
There's actually, I'll just say about Soldado that there's one thing I do agree with Gomez, what he's come out with today, in that he's talking about Spurs ruining players. I do believe that we actually ruined Soldado because of the way we were playing when we bought him. It made absolutely no sense buying a striker of that type with the way we were going to play. Because if you compare to the way he was playing in Spain, he was being fed the ball all the time. He was just a box striker. And then to put him in a Spurs team where there was absolutely no crosses going in, playing with inverted wingers, we basically have killed the striker. Do you know what I mean? I think he's still a good striker, but I think his confidence is that low now. I don't think there's anything, retrievable at all. I think he's going to end up going back to Spain. And I was going to take a point with Punit when he says we haven't signed any strikers of note. I think at the time when we signed Soldado, we did sign a striker of note. We signed a very, very good striker. Very capable striker, and I think we actually broke that striker. So, I mean, people say it's not his game in England. I don't agree with that. I think he's a typical poacher. He needs to be fed the ball. We never fed him the ball from the word go, and that's why he never went scoring goals. He scored a few, But he was never fed the ball. I mean, I used to watch the games. You could see him make him run after run after run, and for what? For nothing. Never got the ball.
Andros Townsend to get the ball and look like he was going to cross, and then check onto his other foot, and then check back again, and then maybe just check back one more time just for good effect. By which time Soldado's done the zigzag back and forth.
But that might also be a point, because we've never actually played Soldado in front of our best supporting players.
Oh, he's had minutes. He's not had full games, but he's had minutes.
Yeah, minutes, but you're not going to score in minutes, are you? That only happens on occasion. Yeah, true. But I don't think he's had enough time with some of the most creative players that we've got. So in that way, that could also be part of the way we've ruined him, just to be playing with him with players like Townsend, who can't really seem to get rid of the ball.
I totally agree with everything John said. We've had a history of just buying players who've look good or whatever. We don't buy for a system. We just buy players for the sake of their availability. And although I do rate his Spanish a few seasons before us, I think what really lost it, I don't think any striker worth his salt would have passed that ball when he was through against Fiorentina. Yeah. And I think that lost it for a lot of people, not just me.
I think that shows a lack of confidence. I don't think that shows a lack of ability. I think that shows a lack of confidence. He's very, very low on confidence right now, and has been for quite some time. Yeah. But is Lavezzi the answer? If
no,
bring in Lavezzi. I'm with John. I know what John's going to say. No, he's too old. He's too.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, he's not a striker. I mean, anyone who's seen Lavezzi play, he's not a striker. Yeah. He's never been a striker.
Wide left, isn't he, most of his career?
Wherever he's played, he's not been a striker. He wasn't a striker in Spain. He wasn't a striker in France. He's never been a striker in Argentina, where he started out. He's not a striker. People all of a sudden get linked with the PSG, number 10, but they don't watch the games. He's not he doesn't play as a striker for PSG. He's had a mediocre season this season. He had a pretty mediocre season last season because they were trying to flog him. He was that mediocre. And all of a sudden, people want us to buy this 30-year-old for £10 million. They think it's a bargain. Well, it's not a bargain. He's 30 years old. He'll want about 150 grand a week, I would imagine, or thereabouts. And he's not a striker. He's another number 10. How many number 10s do we want to collect? We've got Pritchard, we've got Ericsson, we've got Chadley, we've got Lamella that can play there. We're going to have Lavezzi as well. I mean, Harry Kane can play there as well, by the way. Perhaps we should try Soldado and Paulinho. Perhaps we can give old Brazilian Paula go there. Adebayor. Ugo to keep him happy at Tottenham. We'll put him as number 10. But no, I think we need to sign a number 9. We need to sign a number 9. Harry Kane, bless him, he's done really well this season. Second season's going to be the clincher for me. I mean, is he going to score 30-odd goals next season? I don't know, I hope so. But I think he's started to... I've just been told I'm speaking too loud. I think we just need another backup, like the boys say. I mean, Adebayor's finished. He's always been that type of player. Wherever he's gone, he's had a good season where he's trying to get himself into the team, and then he comes off the ball for every club he's ever played at. He's not good enough for us. He needs to go. Are we going to be able to get rid of him? I don't think so. I'm worried we're going to get stuck with him. Soldado, I think he cannot do anything else in England. I think he's done. It's a shame, but I think we'd have to screw him along somewhere. But we need to get a proper number 9 in. A proper number 9, even if it costs an arm and a flipping leg. Get him in, give him a good wage. Just a top quality player, not a sort of an average quality like we always seem to go out and buy this average quality or possibly going to be a good quality player. No, just get a top quality one in. And be done with it.
Strikers want 200k, don't they?
And they cost 30 million to bring in. We're not going to be doing that again.
That's the problem, isn't it? I mean, if we want to be where we want to be, then someone's up above us got to start, and I don't mean God, by the way. Right? But someone up above has got to start making decisions. Say, right, you know, there's rumours about the ground share within the NFL and all this kind of stuff. If that's going to happen, they're only going to be interested with teams that are really punching towards the top, not sort of going 5th and 6th and occasionally 7th. They're going to be wanting, you know, an attractive club. At the minute, I don't see it as an attractive club for, you know, the money men of the NFL. What is attractive about us? The only attractive thing about us is we're in London. I mean, you know, there's
fairly attractive.
It's fairly attractive, of course it is. But you know, is it going to be enough to pull those kind of interest in? I don't know. But again, I mean, on the flip side, you say without that kind of interest, are we going to be able to have the kind of funds to be able to get these £30 million strikers in £200 a week? I don't know. I think Joe Lewis. We all know Joe Lewis has the financial clout to be able to, you know, put his money where his mouth is. Does he want to do it? I don't think he does.
I think the the financial fair play system comes into effect and is a real problem for us because we can't really go a lot further than we have in terms of our budget and spending on players or wages. In terms of clubs that are going to could bring Adebayor in, I've got a feeling that Tactics Tim might do us a favour and he could end up at Aston Villa.
Well, didn't they come for him in January, trying to
West Ham. West Ham wanted him in January.
Ah.
Yeah. That would be nice.
But then again, wouldn't players like Austin and Ings, probably expensive signings, but still,
Ings is what, $2.5 million on a tribunal or something?
Yeah, because of his age, yeah.
But wouldn't they be players that could, well, they could do a job for us as a support to Harry Kane, and still be young British players. So we don't have to be exotic and find the best player in Spain, because we've got true proven goal scorers here that might be within our reach.
Well, Ings has played with Harry Kane for England, hasn't he? Same thing with Berahino, and then Austin. They're talking about 10 to 15 million pounds, even though they've just been relegated, and they've got something like a 58 million pound fine waiting for them. So I don't think they'll be selling him off cheap.
The only other thing to add to that as well, Stu, if I can just jump in, is talk about proven. They're not proven yet. They've had one good season each in the Premier League, pretty much. If we want to stick a striker, albeit an English very good striker, but with another very good English striker who's also had one good proven season in the Premier League, and it doesn't work for either of them, you've got a big problem. I know what you're saying. You know, I'd love to have, you know, a British spearhead strike force. That'd be great. Young talent, British talent, love it. It's a big risk to put two sort of 20-something young English players that have had one good season behind them, and that's it. Spearheading our campaign next year.
John, with Harry Kane though, you know, a lot of people are saying this, that it's all about his second season, but what Harry Kane has done is unprecedented. No other striker, you name them, Michael Owen, Shearer, you know, Robbie Fowler, no one scored at this sort of level at his age in the Premier, you know, in top flight. This is totally unprecedented.
Yeah, but that's also the worrying thing, though, isn't it?
He's going off the ball at the moment, by the looks.
He's got no support up front at the moment. He's dropping too deep and trying to make too much happen, I think.
There's no pace in our team at the moment, so I think that's a team issue.
It is a massive issue. I think pace. I'm that's why I always love Lennon, because that's one thing that Lennon did give us. The pace. Whenever you play football, I mean, towards the back end of my career, which certainly wasn't to the standards of we're watching. But one thing I hate, trickery I can deal with, not a problem, but pace was always a problem. And any defender you'll speak to, they hate pace. They hate it. Even though Lennon's final ball at times was utter crap. Defenders hated playing against him simply because he was that electric. He'd give you 5 yards and he could still go past you. We don't have any. Punit's right. We've got no pace. There's nothing in our team. There's no urgency of moving the ball quick to carve teams open. When we were very good under Harry Redknapp, that's exactly how we beat teams. That's exactly how we looked good when we were going forwards. It was a quick, first time passing, moving the ball very, very quickly, players pushing on, getting into positions, and we haven't had that under Pochettino, although he's not been here very long. Villas-Boas, it certainly wasn't that way. So I think we need to get back to that. We need to get back to moving the ball quickly.
Something's changed though, John, because start of the season we were very poor. We grounded out some results, but then as this, we got to the Chelsea game, the Arsenal game, we were playing with tons of pace. There was lots of movement, very high intensity football, and now we're playing as if we're AVB's back in charge. We're getting the ball, we're just letting the opposition get behind the ball again, and we're just moving it slowly. And I don't understand what's changed. We're not doing this high pressing, which got us a lot of success midway through the season.
I think they're knackered.
Yeah.
The players are knackered.
But that's a poor excuse to say they're knackered, though.
I think there's a certain amount of truth in it, though. To be honest, that the intensity. I agree with you. I mean, that mid part of the season, there was certainly a lot more intensity than there is now. But again, is it down to the double training sessions? Is it down to the fact that we were playing with such intensity in the mid part of the season that they have got a certain amount of burnout? I don't know. I mean, I can't for the life of me go with what some people are saying when they're saying the manager's decided to tell them not to play the same way. I think it makes no sense. I mean, you wouldn't suddenly turn around and say, yeah, let's forget about how we were playing and beating Arsenal and Chelsea and play crap. It makes no sense. So I think the intensity perhaps has dropped down to because of the training sessions, because of the long season. We played more games than any other team, I think, still in the Premier League. I think that perhaps that's got something to do with it. I don't know. Yeah, you could say it's an excuse, but I don't know. I think there is a certain amount of truth in it. Again, you go back to the fact that there's a lot of young players. The mentality is perhaps not as evolved as more experienced players that have played at higher level and stuff. I don't know. Perhaps a culmination of many things.
I think one of the shocking things of this season is probably that I think Andros Townsend played in both of those games, didn't he? Chelsea and Arsenal.
He was rubbish as well in both.
He's had his moments. Not many.
Not many. For England, yeah, he's been alright for England, yeah. Not for Tottenham, though.
So, how are we all feeling about next season? Anybody got any thoughts on what we're going to see next season? Last thing, then we'll wrap it up for the night, guys.
Transition.
I will tell you what I think about I'll tell you what I think about next season. Want to see who we bring in and who we don't bring in and who we get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel that this summer is probably the first summer in ages where I'm actually not that bothered as to who we bring in. I've got that much confidence in the manager with the young players coming through, and some of the young lads that we know are definitely coming into the fold, whether they stay or go out on loan again, Dele Alli and Pritchard, etc. I think a lot's going to boil down to which of our players fit into his system, and if he can actually start to make it work properly right from the start of the season. And if he can do that and produce those, we've obviously had some performances, not at a consistent level, but if he can get that level of performance into our team right from the start of the season, I'll be very excited, as is.
I think it's the most important thing for us as a club to move on will be to get rid of probably about 10 of the players that we've mentioned before. I mean, if we were honest, the players we mentioned earlier aren't actually involved in the match day squad anyway. So I joke about transition. That won't actually affect us too much, because if they're not involved anyway and they're not there, it won't make any difference. But I agree with Pranit. I mean, Dele Alli apparently has been told or assured that he's not going to go out on loan, so he's going to play a part, whether it's in cup competitions more than the Premier League or not is another thing. I think that's probably more the case. But I agree with you. I think the fact that Pochettino has put in a lot more. He's got a lot more confidence with our youth and academy players than a lot of the other managers before him. Probably stands in good stead. But I just think we need to just fill it around a little bit as well with players that have got the know-how and the experience, even if it's not necessarily in the Premier League, but just the big game experience. I think we desperately will need, because if this sort of drab, damp squib end to the season is down to the fact that the young players are getting a little bit of burnout, then perhaps those experienced players might be the ones that can, ease us along the line a little bit more towards May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we are going to have another season of changeover, transition. But I think we're going to see.
Can I interrupt you, Stuart? Can I just ask?
Yeah, go for it.
Can I ask who Panit who Deli Cali is, please?
Someone
It's a bit Danny Kelly.
Alter ego.
Yeah, so I think we're going to see probably some like 9-10 players leave. I think we'll probably see like 5-6 players come in if we can get that much work done, because that's an awful lot to be asking. I think Kevin Wimmer's supposed to be already done, isn't he? Then you've got who else is supposed to be coming in? Conor Plianco is supposed to have signed a deal. I'm not sure how true that one is. And then you've got Schnedlin as well, who is supposed to be maybe possibly coming in. He'd probably be the best deal of all of them. So.
It would make a big difference.
Massive, yeah, absolutely.
We'll never get it.
So.
No, I don't feel we'll get him. I think he's got bigger fish to fry. I mean, at the end of the day, if Arsenal are interested, it's isn't it, really? Truth between us and Arsenal.
Arsenal do their usual, they'll dither too long and then miss out on him.
No, maybe.
Yeah, I'm happy we've got Daniel leave and we don't dither.
If you look at the rumours that are floating about, though, it seems that there are a lot more active rumours at the moment than we've ever had right at the start of the season. Usually it goes on till the end of August, but at the moment we've got 2 or 3 people that we're allegedly supposed to be about to sign.
Mm.
Well, you've got Wimmer, haven't you, the Austrian lad? He's supposed to be they're already signed apparently, so I haven't seen much of him at all, so I don't know whether he's much good or not. But
well, there's him. There's Conor Plianco, who's supposedly signed a deal. In the Russian press, that's what they've been saying anyway.
Leandro Damião as well, apparently.
I think he's going in for a medical any time.
Yeah, he's still in the middle of his medical, isn't he, from 3 years ago?
Is it only 3 years? More than that now. He was one of AVB's big signings, wasn't it? He wanted him. He wanted the guy who ended up going to Monaco, and who else was it? Oh dear.
No, he was before that, because Phantom of the Lane. He was probably one of Redknapp's guys, and he was the one that introduced the whole yellow thing.
Yellow.
Blue and yellow. Yeah. No, but I know. I remember AVB saying that he was promised Leandro Damião and he was going to get him, but he never came. So it looks like that was a pretty good move now. So. Yeah. Anybody else got any feelings for next season?
I feel very positive. I think that with the youngsters coming back, Pritchard coming back, Ali coming to the club, if we sign a good defensive midfielder, i.e. Schneiderlin, then I suspect we could do very, very well next season. I'd like to see another wide player come in, Konoplyanko possibly, because I do think we need a bit of width. But in general terms, I feel positive about next year.
I think it depends on what happens with any sort of buyout. All I know is that Edmonton said that we should be getting a bit excited.
Really?
Keep it to yourselves.
He says on YouTube.
No one knows who Edmonton is.
70 million people potentially watching, but keep it to yourself. Yeah, I'm actually not sure that a sale would be a good thing for Spurs. I know a lot of people are unhappy with Levy and Enoch, but I don't see what somebody coming in is going to do. Maybe they can speed things along in terms of the financing, but they can't spend any more than we already have been because we're up against FFP anyway. So.
Well, hasn't Daniel really kept the books good so that we've got quite a bit in the bank, so to speak, so we won't fall foul of FFP, even if we do start splashing a bit of cash?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much we can splash, though. It's a problem.
And also, Platini's talking about blacking it off a bit, isn't he?
Mm. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I hate that idea personally.
Sure, there's a way around it. The NFL deal, if it comes off, I think will be the key. And
yeah, that will be a big thing for the club.
at the moment, they're talking about spreading the games between us and Wembley. That was the last I heard.
I'd take that, I have to say.
Yeah, the money for that? We're talking about a huge stadium deal if that's the case.
But doesn't that kind of cut back on the amount of money that we can get in terms of other marketing deals, because we're limited in terms of the marketing we can do for
Not the football
within
side.
the stadium? No, but the NFL, because it's used as an NFL stadium, they're unhappy. They would be unhappy about. Oh, what was that? That was unnecessary. Yeah, I think the NFL would be unhappy about what other marketing is done in the stadium.
Yeah,
And
but all you have to do is
that
cover
has to
up.
go over from game to game. So.
Yeah, but all you do is cover up the other marketing stuff. That's what they do when they share a baseball and NFL stadiums in the States.
Frankly, any new stadium should have like digital marketing platforms, shouldn't it? It should all be digital.
Probably would.
Digital boards, and it's just like press a button and it's done. We'll switch it over.
Yeah.
Right. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I think we've done well over an hour.
Just before we all go,
Yeah.
can I just say I'm looking at Bagel, and Bagel looks like Van der Vaart's grandfather.
I wonder when that was coming in.
Sorry, John.
He looks like Ruud van Nistelrooy now.
Van Nistelrooy. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Very kind of you. Yes, Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah. Oh, John, you're looking good, mate. It's the French lifestyle's doing you a favour, I tell you.
Andreas has had a shave.
I had a shave. I actually I had a bit of a battery accident. My computer shut down.
Yeah, I saw the warning. Did you not?
Well, can I just say on behalf of everyone, thank you very much, Stuart, for organising the whole thing. Well done, mate.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Do this kind of thing all the time. This is second nature now, I tell you.
Well hosted as well.
Well, now we know what we're doing, guys. The next one will be even better. Start next season.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Yeah, we'll try and do a few more next season as well. You know, we've done, 3 this year, and one of those didn't even get properly recorded, which was my fault. Hold my hands up. So we'll try and get a few more in next season, maybe once a month or something like that.
John, Stuart, are you going to put odds on that and put that through your various betting networks?
No, this is just for us, guys. This isn't for talking tipsters or anything. If anybody wishes to follow tipsters, then head on over. No, I'm joking.
just cut out that bit where I think they keep it between us. Post that.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming, and we shall meet again, I'm sure. See
ya.
ya.
All the best.
Take
Take
care.
care, guys.
Hiya.
Yes.
Bye.